Okay, so we are going to meet for 90 minutes. So we use the chat a lot for the instructions. So if you can have your chat box open is always good. And so just be aware of the alerts and distractions you may have, and have a piece of paper. And we're gonna use a piece of paper and a pen right now. So if you can get it, it's good. And welcome everyone. So nice to have you all here. And I think you can, all the time that I, someone come.
People start showing up, no problem.
Okay, so we are gonna do centering kind of grounding exercise, which called Spiral Journal. And it's a very good one. And it's a punctuation of the liberated structures community. And so welcome, Natalia, Talita, who just joined us here. And maybe Fernando, you can share the screen to start the Spiral Journal.
Will, just a minute. And I have to click there and there.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a good exercise to prepare the work ahead and to kind of warm up. And so what you're gonna do, you just grab a piece of paper, fold it twice, and then you're gonna have 4 quadrants. So you may do that now. So then when you have the 4 quadrants, what you're gonna do, and if you want to stop your video for a while, it's up to you. So with a pen, you're gonna start a spiral from the center. So just go to the center of the 4 quadrants and start like doing a spiral very slowly. And then you just go from the center and widen the spiral as narrow as possible. And while you are doing that, you breathe. Sometimes we forget to breathe. And slowly widen this spiral and breathe. Okay, so now we are gonna have 1 question per quadrant. And the first one that you're gonna answer is this one. What is in your body? What is your body feeling right now? Okay, so second question. What are you feeling emotionally at the moment? It's about 50 to 60 seconds for each question. Third question. So what have you been thinking about lately? Where are you mentally? What's left over? So the last one, you don't need to use words. What's left over? Okay, so now you just look to your paper, all the 4 questions, and review your writings and circle anything that it piques your curiosity. Okay, so now you're gonna be in pairs to share whatever you feel appropriate. You don't need to share exactly what you wrote there, but what you feel that you want to share, what stood out for you, or any curiosity, whatever you feel appropriate. So, and you're gonna have 6 minutes for that, for this sharing.
Here we go.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put in the chat a link for the Spiral Journal in the Trello, if you want to have that material for you. Is there. And over to you, Fernando.
Yeah, I'm just putting the right order in the chat and in the slides. Okay, so for those who never have been here, welcome. This is the Wise Crowds. We have been doing this for maybe how many months, Carolina? I don't remember. Many.
Many, yeah.
And it's always nice. So the idea is to improve our practice with liberating structures. So we have been doing immersions in different places. And there is always this longing for a place where you can meet people who have some practice with liberating instructors and keep practicing, to keep learning. So we create this space for monthly gatherings, specifically for liberating instructors practice. And then we can discover new possibilities, combining different structures for different purposes, and connecting with different people, like from Kenya, Vancouver, Fort Collins. So we connect people from all over. We had one time a lady from India. It was like 1 a.m. for her.
Wow.
It's so nice. So the agenda for this 90 minutes, attention, presence, and connection, we just finished. And we are on the welcome and orientation. We were doing one liberating instructor called Wise Crowds. That's the name of the gathering. And you'll know this in a bit. And then we'll be refining an agenda using a set of slides, which helps us to visualize things. And then we share what we learned. I think we will have maybe 2 groups working today, so we can share what each group learned, and then we close. So it's easy. And let me just check one thing with you, your relation with liberating structures. So we have some options. You know well and practice very often. You know a little and practice very often. Know well, but practice rarely. Know a little and practice rarely. Or what are liberating structures? That's also valid. I think one more person. Yeah. 9, 10, 11. Okay, let's see the results together. So we have 3 people on the top and 5 people on the bottom. It's nice, good mix.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Carolina, do you want to set up the Wise Crowds or should I? Actually, just raise your hands. Who knows Wise Crowds, this structure? Raise your hand. Okay, 4. Who knows Troika Consulting?
Same people.
Okay. Okay, Wise Crowds and Troika Consulting are very similar. The difference, it's very subtle, but makes a lot of difference.
Mm-hmm.
In Troika Consulting, you always work with triads. So everybody has a chance to be the client. So they take turns in 10 minutes rounds with the same sequence. A time for the client to present the challenge or request for help. And then a time for consultants, which are the other 2 people, asking clarifying questions to understand the challenge. And then the client turns around and face-to-face, or in virtual, you just close the camera and mic. And then the consultants go crazy, creating suggestions, solutions, ideas, even more questions. And 1 minute at the end, the client comes back to just say what was valuable for him or for her. And then you start another round with the second person, the third person, 10 minutes each round, 30 minutes, Troika Consulting. In Wise Crowds, the same structure with a larger group, up to 5 people, and larger, a little bit more of time for the presentation, the questions, because you have more people to ask. And that's all. So usually when you're starting with a group, people can start with Wise Crowds just to get the group warmed up, and they can start using Troika. After people see the value on this kind of exercise, it's very powerful. You can get lots of results immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Wise Crowds. The timings are there. So we need at least 2 clients to work today with a real challenge. And it needs to be a challenge where you need help to design a string or decide which structures to use here and there, combinations, this kind of thing. So who wants to be a client? Just raise your hands, your physical hand.
John,
wants to be a client. Who else? Same price, people. Free consulting today. Yeah, Rosa was thinking, and then her hand just went up. Okay, so you can see we have 2 red dots in Rosa and John, so they'll be the clients. And just to help me organize the breakouts more evenly, you can help me just putting these dots on your name. A consultant is someone with a little bit of practice with Liberating structures. An apprentice, less experience or not so comfortable with Liberating structures, you put a yellow. So it will help me just to make these 2 groups. Anything to add, Carolina, for orientation?
No. I can rename.
Let's see.
You just copy and paste the dot under your name. So to rename yourself, you just go over your own video, click on the 3 dots on the top right, and rename yourself.
Yeah, rooms are ready, Carolina.
Okay.
So maybe you can recap the steps.
Yes, I'll do it. Okay. So, but first I'm gonna put in the chat one link for the Liberating structures menu. So then you have it all there. And so just to recap, I'm going to put again in the chat. So the client is going to have 3 minutes to present the challenge. So what you are looking for, what the need what is the help that you need. So after these 3 minutes, the other people in the room, so the consultant is going to ask clarification questions. And just keep very aware of that if it is a clarification question or if you are jumping to solutions or anything. So just keep on the clarification questions. So after, Colin?
Sorry, maybe you're going to be also explaining that, but as an apprentice, I don't know the framework, the format. Can we participate, or would you prefer that we just hold back? Yeah, okay.
Sure. I think all voices, it's good to discuss. And sometimes if you don't have like a lot of knowledge about liberating structure, you can have other knowledge that you can help people, or right? So everybody can participate. So all consultants going to ask clarification questions. In that part, everybody can help a lot. And so after the 6 minutes, the client's going to turn off the camera and the mic. And the others, the consultant's going to discuss and give some suggestions for liberating structures. What liberating structures you can use for that challenge. And after this 9 minutes, this discussion among the consultants, the client come back again and in 1 minute to say what was valuable for her or for him. And so in total, it's 16 minutes. And so one client, one round.
Yeah, on the normal structure, you pass over to a new client and the process keeps going. In our case, you'll be doing this first round. We'll be coming back here. And then you have another round to work with the slides and visualize the string. So you have another chance to go deeper. Sometimes clients get anxious trying to solve everything in 60 minutes. But you have another 16 minutes later. Okay.
And to add something here, so who are not familiar with liberating structure, sometimes you can hear or you can just go to the menu and see what would you suggest, or like, and just discuss with the group here, and we are going to learn together. What, Wensha? I don't know if I pronounce your name.
Yes, my name is Wanja. I'm just not familiar with the concept.
Okay, so you go to the breakout rooms, and there you are gonna just follow the group, and then you're gonna learn and see what it is, and maybe go on that link that I put in the chat, and we give you some ideas.
You'll learn as we go.
Exactly.
Okay, here we go. See you in a bit. Follow on your side. Okay, quick tour. This is the Liberating Structures website, the mothership. So this is the first page, and special places to go. First, this link on the top, so LS menu. If you click on the first one, you see this page where you can see all the structures, the 33, with the icons, the names. And this is one thing that is very nice to have in hand, especially when you're starting. So if you click here, you see this PDF. You can download and do this exercise as it's written here. So this is the exercise, just to get one event or a challenge that you have in your hand. And then you start choosing which of these purposes help me to get this challenge solved. It can be this one: discover and build on the root cause of success, review, understand relationship patterns. So from here, you can make a circle where you find a fit. And these are the structures on the same purpose. So if you choose, for example, the number 5 is this one, appreciative interviews. So you can go back in the website and you can go to the structures that you are looking for. You can choose from this menu, or you can go here and find it by the name here. So for example, appreciative interviews. When you click on the structure, you can see a full description of what is possible, how to lead it. So it's very simple. It's made in a way that everybody can just read, follow the steps, and get the structure going. And here in the bottom, you can find additional purpose, additional whys using this structure, tips and traps, rips and variations, and also combinations. For example, follow with min specs. So what are min specs? It's another structure. And this is the beauty of liberating structures. They are short, small pieces with specific purposes that you can combine and make a combination that can help you move forward with a group in a specific event or challenge. What else, Carolina, as a basic places to go? Maybe the order?
The order, yeah. So the order in the menu is about complexity. And so you like the first one, 1, 2, for all, it's the easiest one, the simpler one. Very good one, not because it's simple that it's not effective or not good. So it's amazing. But if you go through the menu and down, you have more complexity or sometimes more time that you need. So if you go to EcoCycle, for example, which is the 31, so 95 minutes, they say, but you can do like a whole event or a whole one-day workshop just doing EcoCycle planning, for example. So it's
and you'll be using 1, 2, for all inside EcoCycle. So you need some, a little bit of experience with other structures. And maybe another thing that is important, Carol, is the microstructures and design elements. Please.
The microstructure is inside of everything. So this is a way that they discover that sometimes we don't pay attention to the microstructure in our engagements. So we have like, I have a room, or I have this, or like, the big things we take care of, and we don't take care of the microstructures. So the microstructures of the liberating structures are there. So you have an icon in the center, and also a purpose of that liberating structure. And then you have the invitation, so the first spot there. So make an invitation, and then how the participation is distributed, and configure groups, arrange space, sequence, and allocate time. So those are, if you pay attention to those microstructure, you are gonna have a very good exercise or activity, or in this case, a liberating structure.
Yeah, in all the descriptions, they follow the same sequence. So how do you invite people and how participation is distributed? Oh, there is a typo here.
Oh yeah.
How groups are configured. So in this case, 1, 2, 4, all start individually, go to pairs, groups of 4, and then the whole group. So space, how it's arranged, and sequence of time and steps. So it's very simple. So every liberating structure follows the same description. So if you go to impromptu networking, you see the description of what it's all about, how do you invite people, how you'll be arranging space, distribution, groups, sequence of time, and allocation. So here, when you make an invitation, this is the biggest investment when you're designing with liberating structures. What is the right question to ask this group to achieve that purpose? So if you're aiming to share challenges and expectations and build new connections, what is a good combination of questions to ask together? So usually here we have a couple questions, so you can adapt for different scenarios. We have been having like teachers using this at the beginning of the classroom. So what do you already know about math, this topic? And how have you been in the last week? So people can have a quick connection moment and also get their heads in the right space. And then you start working with a different structure, for example. And you can go deeper, read some field stories. You can find specific topics. Questions, Anjani?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should call him Mure or
Question.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, people are back, Carolina.
It's with you, or you want me to do?
I can do it. So let me get the right slides. Yeah, here we are. Okay, so first of all, how was it? Any clarity for the clients? Advancements, improvements?
I think that listening to the conversation about there were a variety of different ideas was really helpful, and it made me think about kind of a way to organize this, the approach to the problem I'm trying to solve, which was really helpful, and being really specific. So, min specs came up, 9Ys came up, shift and share came up, TRIZ came up. So there were some really good examples of what could be done at those points.
Wow. And Rosa, what do you say on the other side of the border?
We're on the same side of the border.
Yeah.
We are. So I appreciated them trying to understand the problem. And what I appreciated was actually me trying to understand what my purpose is. Right. And so I'm going to think on that a little bit more. Also, because I'm trying to create such an immersive experience for people, I appreciated, was it Peter Collin, one of the two, telling, just helping me to figure out how I can get people to come up with similar problems. And there were 2 liberating structures that were mentioned just because people are really new and they, are new to the concept. So, but one was the heard, seen, and respected, just because I'm bringing so many people together from like across BC, and just perhaps to build the sense of safety. And psychological safety and trust. And then the other was the eco cycle, which actually Enki, who's on this thing too, and I have been a part of with our district. I found it, it can be prescriptive, but I find it almost a bit too overwhelming to accomplish. I'm trying to get a little bit more done in a cycle of 2.5 hours. And I'm not sure that's the right one for me, but I appreciated the heard, seen, and respected. And me trying to consider how I can get shared categories through some like problems, groups of people sharing similar problems into a group, but how I could do that through liberating structures, we don't know yet. Because
I like the yet. Okay, so you are on a good track. So that's the start. So the second step is Carolina will give you the link for this document. It's a set of slides. So we have the first slide, orientation, and you'll be working on a slide like this. So we'll be putting the names. Let me put here John. And on the next slide will be Rosa. So you don't have to fight for a slide. And the group will be working together. So you'll be on camera working with them. So you can copy the icons from the structure on the previous slide, paste on your slide, and make your string, start to make some connections and some options as well. Sometimes we have one sequence here, one sequence there. So you can start thinking more visually. And these are the important things to consider while working together. So first things, write the critical objectives on the top of the slide. So what are the main goals to achieve? Because this will help you to choose the structures and put in different places. And then stay in the space of possibilities. You can create as many strings as you want. There is no right or wrong, better or worse. And try to copy and paste the icons and focus on the string first, the flow of the string. Usually it helps people to get a flow and understanding of the event. And if you have time, you can start doing some invitations, specific invitations for one structure or the other. But first, the flow, it always helps. Any question? Maybe one last thing to say is the client is in the room and more or less the client has a say on the sequence because they are planning to do this in real life. So try to help these people to move ahead with something in 16 minutes. Anything, Carolina, to add, or should I beam them up? Question.
I just want to ask a question. Obviously, as a newcomer, I don't know the liberating structures. Would you typically work only with the designated and allocated and defined liberating structures that are there, or is there space to bring in other what could be structures that exist outside of the ecosystem and begin to populate? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it would be valid, Colin. If your group has explored some liberating structures and you want to add something new, I'm totally good. And yeah, you and your client in the room, you are the bosses. You decide what it's appropriate. But take notes, everything that it's helpful, just take notes, because usually what happens is after the session, clients pick their decks, their slides, and keep using for the real challenge. So it's always helpful to have more information. Okay, and if you need help, you can ask for help, and one of us will be there with you as well.
Yeah, so John is already putting the critical objectives there, so it helps a lot when we have a clear critical objectives. It helps us to find the right sequence or the right string for that challenge.
And here you go, 16 more minutes of fun. Enjoy. Back in the main room. Carolina, do you wanna harvest?
to
The
have
learnings.
I'm just following Session Lab. Okay, so we want to share so what the groups came with, and so maybe you can start with John. And Fernando, can you share the screen?
I can.
Thank you, Danielle.
Yeah, Danielle needs to leave.
And Talita also had to leave.
Yeah. So we are starting with John. So it's this slide.
Okay, so John, can you just talk like what is a highlight for you of this string and what did you discover?
Yeah, well, I think we've got the right activities for doing what I hope to do, which is kind of uncover why are the norms that we're using in our meetings helpful. What are we hoping to achieve by using these norms? And then the bigger picture of why norms, like why do we even have these? What are they helping us do? And then more specifically digging down into a particular set of norms that we identify as being really helpful, that we would begin to kind of dig down deeper to identify what are the behaviors that tell us whether that we're following these norms. And I think that what I discovered is that there's this, what goes first? Like, where do we start this thing? Do we start with just a general, what's your thinking around norms? How are these norms helping us do the work that we need to do? And then beginning to break them down into more detail. Do we start big and go small? Or do we start really with some minutia so we build up to the kinds of revisions that we may need to make to our norms? So I think there's still a little bit of a dance going on about what comes first. And so I think the discovery is you can order these in a particular way that is super helpful, but then you can also just think, well, wait a minute, what if we did, Johnny came up with, well, what if you just flipped it and did it the other way around? It's actually, in a way, it really works. And so you need to make a decision about which direction to go.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. It's very good to have that in our brains, like, okay, we can do this sequence, but then we can just do in another way or invert all the order. And we have a different results, but can be as good as the first one. So this is a very good way to think.
Shall we step to Rosa?
Yeah. Rosa.
Mute. Okay. Yeah, so I guess, a lot of the discussion too was around like purpose and making certain that we're spending time and honoring the time to reflect and to come up with, rather than to jump to the ideas and the to-do. However, I do also think that as administrators, like it's our time of getting together, and a lot of us know each other or know of each other, and I can get them to understand like what it is that their issue is. And there's so many, we found that there's just so many different liberating structures that you can use, that it's just a matter, I'm finding that I need to believe in myself, because I had an idea. I've been thinking about all these things, and I love people's creativity that they're sharing with me. And now I just have to trust in myself. That's where I have to just trust that they're gonna like what I do. Because, that when you're presenting, because this is my first contract outside of my job, my career that I've had for 33 years, I want to do a good job. And I have to just not be afraid to try this and go for it. And just reflect and see after the first session how I can improve for the second session that I get to do again for 2.5 hours, right? Yeah, I'm tackling a little bit more than John. Mine's not just like one facet, which I like. I'm doing, you know, a bigger thing. I'm trying to differentiate for everybody coming in, for them to leave with their purpose known, and also like the 15% of what they can do and what they have the discretion to do as administrators to enact some change for the benefit of students, right? So
Maybe one thing to make you more brave, Rosa, is that the structures will carry most of the weight for you.
Mhm.
So it's not about you, it's about letting the structures carry the weight with the group. The group will be the engine to move it forward.
it's funny because my write-up, Fernando and Carolina, has this: courage allows you to do two things. It allows you to have conversations that matter, and it allows you to come up with ideas that you could never have imagined before. And so I need to myself have the courage to just believe in me and test this out. I find my biggest challenge when I've done all of this, some of the liberating structures with my own staff, is just sticking to the time. Teachers and principals are the worst students.
Yeah, and it's interesting because if you're choosing like understanding liberating structures as conversation cafe, or even the fishbowl, for that, the structure is going to do the thing, and then after some time you just feel that, okay, this group will need something else, or maybe they want to jump to the 25-10 or the shift and share, or you know, like to share more experience, or oh no, we are ready to think about what I'm gonna do next. So then you can have the 15% solution. So it's good when you see, because the group is gonna change along the way, and you just like look the way how the group is going, if you are following them with them, and you just you guess what is the next step, and it's right there. So yeah, the courage, you get everything.
Yeah.
You have everything.
I'm just going to screenshot this too. Is this an open doc? Like,
Yeah, we'll send you
I can see?
the link for this document, but you can
Okay.
right now make a copy for yourself. You just
Okay.
go to the file,
Yeah.
make a copy, and then you can copy the entire presentation for yourself.
Oh,
Just your slides if you want to. It's fully open. 10 minutes, Carolina, to close this awesome gathering with awesome people.
Okay, so if you want to pause your camera for a while and think about what is your takeaway from these wise crowds. Reflect for a moment.
Tiana, do I have to drive you?
Okay, so now we are gonna do a shot storm. You can open your camera. And I'm gonna put here in the chat. And so you're going to write in the chat what is your takeaway from today, but you don't press enter yet. You just write what is your takeaway and wait. And houses away.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, John. Wanja. Okay, so in a count of 3, if you're ready, you just show your hands, and then I know that you already wrote it down. Okay, I think it's almost everybody ready.
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
Shall we read in order, Carolina?
Yeah, so starting with John, you can read what you just wrote for us.
It really helped me with having multiple perspectives on my problem of practice.
Fernando.
Yeah, me. One takeaway from me is that people can always learn as we go with liberating structures.
Pete.
This is the first one of these I've come to since having a training, and so I really wanted to come see what it was all about, understand it, and I think I'm able to walk away with an understanding of how I might be able to bring a problem in the future and contribute in that way.
Anki. Are you there?
I am here. Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize my camera was off. The takeaway is like I always learn so much when I'm here, and I know last time, no, I missed last time, but the time before I said, oh, I'll be here every month. And then work kind of got in the way. So I missed last month, but I really find it very valuable. The last time I was a client, and this time just consulting on it, you learn something every single time. And it's so great to be able to review them, because sometimes I don't get to use them in my practice. So it's, keeps all these structures in the forefront of my mind, so I can pull on them when I need them. So thank you.
Thank you, Anki. Colin.
Yeah, well, I feel really grateful to finally have caught up with what liberating structures is, or at least gotten some insight. It's been, it's been in my awareness for a long time, and I'm really, really quite inspired by this idea of it's very a collaborative way of working together with. As Fernando said, the forms will carry process along. So you bring in these structure forms that provide a container, but then there's a whole lot of freedom in the way that those forms are carried out or played out, and the way that they're brought together. And so this idea of freedom from form was quite strong for me in the session. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't write anything there, and Wanja and Jenny, if you want to just express your takeaways, how you're leaving the meeting.
Well, thank you so much. The session was quite interesting. For me, this was my first session, and I've really enjoyed myself. My takeaway is the more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know. But it's very, very relevant to the work we do at Includovate. We're trying to decolonize research. And one of our main theory is participatory approaches. So we've been trying to use liberating structures within our work. But for me, definitely the road has only begun. So hope to be participating here more often and just following up on the concepts. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Jenny, you want to?
So yeah, in my case, actually what I wrote is not the only takeaway. My main takeaway will be to be on time for the next session. But it was a great session for me. And one thing I learned is like, even though I was like in that consultant role, what I really appreciated is the fact that, from a client perspective, there's a lot that you can really gain here, because I saw the way John was handling it, because he was very open to all the ideas. I think that for that, you have to know your structures very well so that you get it, exactly what these people are trying to tell fast. So I think I need a little bit of background studying more into the structures before I come next.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, and for me, it's amazing how we can learn together. And as Colin said, it's this Lego piece. I love that, because sometimes people just bring like a sequence that I never thought about before. and then you just kind of start thinking, what would be the result of if I do the 1 and the 2 and the 3, or if I do the 1, the 3, the 2, or the 2, the 3, you know, like this kind of flexibility. So it's so nice to start thinking about it. And so we are always learning, and this gathering is exactly for that, for us to start thinking together and learning together. So thank you for coming. And Fernando.
Yeah, we'll send you an email with the link for this document and keep you posted about the next events. Usually we have a break in the summer and we resume in the fall, but there are so many groups working in similar ways that we are working to keep learning with liberating structures. They are all open and generous. So just dig a little bit deeper and you'll find different places to keep working. And I'll keep you posted by email. Thank you guys for coming. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye,
Ciao, ciao.
everyone.
Everybody.
Bye-bye.